Hi, welcome to the Tonkocast number 14. This week, Dice is traveling in Japan, so it'll just be me meeting with two of our actual Tonko House family members. One is Marin, who is an animator here working on Pig, the Dan Keeper Poems, our Hulu series. But he's also a talented voice actor who's worked on the regular show as well as Over the Garden Wall and Adventure Time. So it'd be really exciting to talk to him about a little bit of voice acting. And we also have our production manager, Courtney Lockwood, who has also done some voices for places. She's done scratch voices for Pixar, but also done some voices for Nickelodeon, and is also actually the voice of Pig and Moon, two of our characters here at Tonko House. So we got together and had a little fun conversation in the morning. So yeah, please enjoy.
Hi, Pops!
Oh, hello! Are you, going to be hosting with me?
Yeah, me, you, and Robert.
Oh, this will be so fun! I've always wanted to be on the radio.
Pops, it's not the radio anymore. They call them podcasts.
What?
Yeah, it's a podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah, you got it.
How wonderful!
It's gonna be so much fun.
Well, welcome to the show.
Yep, hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, so super casual. I think first and foremost, we all have actually quite a bit of common ground. We work in the animation industry, and obviously right now, what's great is this is one of those Tonkocasts where we're turning the mic on ourselves at Tonko House, and both of you guys are working on the Hulu projects in different capacities, but also all of us at some point worked at Pixar in different capacities as well. But I was kind of interested to first hear from each of you what were significant moments that led you towards animation, I guess, in your lives, I guess. And you guys can pick any sort of thing.
When I was really little, my mom got my dad The Illusion of Life, the book.
Wow. Uh-huh.
So that was always in his den, and I would go over and look at that. And then, of course, the original classic Disney movies we would watch.
And The Illusion of Life is the the Bible of animation done by
Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston.
Yeah, awesome. And so you kind of knew from early on you wanted to go into animation, or you had
From about 10, I was like, I want to be an animator.
No way, that's awesome. And eventually that led to CalArts.
Yeah, I think I was in 5th grade when someone first told me about CalArts. It was a friend I was sitting next to, and her mom went there for a dance, actually. Really random.
Wow.
And then I found out that Glenn Keane went there later, and I was like, oh, I have to go here.
That's awesome. And how about you, Courtney?
I did not know I wanted to do animation until I was in it. So I knew I wanted to do film. And I was a little too afraid to do it because, I wasn't an artist, and so there wasn't this direct path for me to go into film or animation. And so I think by college I had accepted it was just maybe it's just a hobby. I really like film. So I ended up going to law school. And then when in law school, I was so miserable for not pursuing what I actually wanted to pursue that by the end of law school, by third year, I was like, okay, I want to do film. And I knew I could do it in a production capacity. and at that point, I went to law school up here in San Francisco, and so it was really the film studios were Pixar or Lucasfilm, and so that was my way to get into film, is through the animation industry.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
but I mean, at the same time, I grew up with like all the Disney films, and as you know, I recently found my journal from middle
Right.
school.
Right.
And apparently I did want to, and there is this passage where I was like, I want to work in the film industry, but who doesn't? And I think I said I want to do it. I mean, a lot of people don't want to work in the film industry, but apparently 10-year-old Courtney thought everybody did. But, and I did say I want to be an actor, a producer, or a drawer.
A drawer.
A drawer, yeah.
So that was related to animation.
I guess so,
Oh wow.
yeah.
A drawer.
But we have since seen my drawings, and I'm glad I did not pursue that. So,
No comment. Yeah. No, totally.
yeah.
And in that capacity, just to kind of go through it a bit. So, Sam, you kind of pursued animation, and went to Cal Arts, but also you've worked at Pixar, you've worked at Disney as well, and currently you're here at Tonko House actually 2D animating. So you've done 3D animation and 2D animation, and we have a project in-house right now that is the Dam Keeper series that you're animating right now, doing phenomenal work with. You joined us in January. But the reason why all of us are collected here for Tonkocast is actually because, well, Courtney, you're in kind of management production, and Sam, you're in animation, and we're all here at Tonko House working on this project, this 2D project. You guys also have this other aspect to your careers, which is acting, voice acting. And both of you have done incredible work on different projects. And Sam, you were on the regular show, as several voices, but also Adventure Time and Over the Garden Wall. So how did it, given that you guys have shared these stories about getting into the industry and animation a little bit, how did it go down a path of then leading to voice acting?
Well, the main thing for me was doing regular show, and then that was made by my friend JG Quintel. And in school at Cal Arts, a lot of people would do voices in each other's films. Like there's a whole acting school, but most people would end up just getting their friends to do voices. So I did voices in 2 of his student films, and then that was made into those characters I did voices for were put into he used them in his show and later.
Got it. So did you have any acting?
I did acting in high school, in middle school, and I kind of have kept taking classes since then, but yeah, it was more just like, having fun making films in school and doing voices. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And then how about you, Courtney?
I similarly got into it it wasn't my intent to get into it. I was often in meetings with some people at Pixar who would just be like, "Oh God, your voice, you just sound like a little boy. We just need you in the recording studio." So it was like, okay, I'm like trying to like present myself as this professional, and then it's really just like kept hearing that I sounded like a little boy. And so then at Pixar they had an open call for Scratch, which in Scratch is the temp voices before they get the actual production actors in. And so they had an open call for Scratch actors, and they asked me, they're like, just do it, just to try out for it. And I was like, okay. And so I went in, and I think I was like, oh, I can do a couple voices. And they're like, no, we really just want to hear your just regular voice. So I read something, I think it was Violet from Incredibles. I read her as my regular voice. And even reading a girl character, they were just like, oh, that's what Violet would sound like if she were a boy. And so then I got, and so then, like, I don't know, a few weeks later, a month later, I got a call and they were like, oh, we've cast you as Nemo. And I was like, oh, cool. And so then I went down and I, like, did it was in front of Andrew Stanton. This is, like, my first ever experience.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And so Andrew, you know, I read for Nemo. And then Andrew's like, oh, that's great. Okay, yeah, you have the part. And so I didn't even realize it was an audition.
Oh, yeah.
And so that is how I became Nemo
Wow.
for Scratch. And then from Nemo, that led into doing Scratch for Arlo and Spot and pretty much every, like, kid character
Right.
they brought me in for, which
Wow.
was incredible because then all of a sudden I'm just doing voice acting, you know, at least a couple hours a day with the best directors of the industry.
Right.
And that is, so I had to learn fast, but
And we worked together on our Dam Keeper short and Moon, even
Yeah.
though people tend to think that there's no voice in those shorts. Actually, there's quite a bit of, like, acting and vocalizations and things like that. And we actually auditioned tons of kids, like actual kids. And we got introduced to you. Someone had recommended, like, oh, you should talk to Courtney. And we ended up recording together. But what was incredible to me, because actually I had no idea. I thought you were I knew you were in production, but I thought you were professionally did this, like, for a while. Just because the first time I really met you, I remember walking into the recording booth and I'm like, oh, is Courtney okay? And you were sitting in the corner of the booth and kind of you could see visibly emotionally distraught a bit. And I realized, like, oh, right, we're about to record this kind of crying scene.
yeah.
But you were really, like, getting into character. You had this little, I don't know if it was an iPhone or something.
Yeah.
But you were preparing emotionally for this. So when you're going to go to read for Andrew Stanton, how do you prepare for these sort of roles or things like that? Or do you just kind of walk in and, I mean, I know for Dam Keeper you did, obviously.
Yeah. Well, Dam Keeper, Duncan, the producer, had told me, like, that morning that it was going to be, I was going to have to cry.
Got it.
So I spent the whole day watching the, like, saddest moments of my favorite movies, which was just like
What was that?
that was, oh my gosh, I'm gonna start to cry if I think about it. It was definitely the opening montage of Up.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah, that definitely, I think, but the one that I remember that I was like, okay, I'm saving this for right before I go in, was when, in Forrest Gump, when Jenny introduces him to Forrest Jr.
Oh, yeah.
And then, no, and then he's like, and then he realizes it's his son, and then he's like, but is he smart? And then he can't even say the words, like, or, like, oh God. And then you realize, like, the whole time you're like, oh my God, he wanted a child, but he didn't want, oh God, it's so heartbreaking. And it's just my moment where I'm like, if I see that movie, I'm like, I have to not do anything that rest of the night, because I'm just, like, gonna be crying. So I was like, this is perfect, because I have to cry for that.
It reminds me of the Sleepless in Seattle scene where
Oh my God, yes.
where his friend, is it his friend or it's his sister or something, and he starts talking about the Cary Grant movie and starts crying.
That's happened to me, but I was actually describing Rookie of the Year to when the mom goes, float it.
I don't.
Float it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, I was like crying, describing that moment. I'm not painting myself in a good picture right now. But anyway, so that's how I prepared for Dam Keeper, because I knew you guys just needed a solid block of crying.
Yeah.
But when I, like, was doing Scratch, especially Arlo, there were some pretty emotional scenes.
Yeah.
It was really just like in the booth, the director, you would talk through it with the director.
Got it.
And I think that was always really helpful.
Yeah.
And then you're more like in the moment. But, and Pete Sohn was incredible about that. He really, and he became vulnerable in the booth and he opened up, and it was just much more of a genuine moment, I would say, than like if you're just, but then sometimes you just need the Vogue, and so you're just like,
Yeah.
or if you laugh, you have to be totally genuine if you laugh, because it comes across as fake if you like are like ha 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 ha. So you have to really have those like moments where you're like, this is gonna make me crack up.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And did you have any formal training before you had started this?
Not for voice acting, but then like Sam, I had just always done acting in like school,
Yeah.
in middle school. But I didn't love being in front of the camera or on stage, and so voice acting is kind of this like perfect little that I never even considered. It's this perfect because you only have your voice, and it's really cool.
And Sam, how about you? Like when you're preparing for roles and things like that, do you do a lot of prep work, or is it pretty kind of instinctual? I actually did prepare a bit and watch like a bunch of interviews you did. And you talked a bit about where these voices come from. A lot of times you're looking at the visuals of the characters and you kind of piece that together. But is there sort of prep that you do for getting into the booth, or?
I have done some things like that. I did one where I was in an episode of Adventure Time, and the character was a ghost that like lost the love of his life, and I was like, I want to work on this. So I went in my car in the parking garage, like outside Cartoon Network, and like tried to like imagine everything, and like I don't know if it helped that much, but I think it.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah, a lot of times, I think like Courtney said, the directors help a lot, and we had a really good director on regular show who would help me with things sometimes if I wasn't getting something. Like one time, I was doing Muscle Man's voice, being like a drill sergeant or whatever, and it wasn't quite right, and she was like, just put your hands behind your back. And then I did that, and it like all came out right, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's funny how like, especially good directors or people who really understand the way actors work, just know like, and if they know you too, they're like, oh, if I just have him do this, that'll do it. It's like I almost need that person.
I know.
So now that you guys are kind of have done it on somewhat, you guys have done it on a professional level. What you also are still continuing your careers as like animator, production. How do they work together? Like, do they? I mean, I could see that animation and voice acting is all part of like acting and presenting the character, but. Have they changed kind of your perspective on one or the other?
Yes. I think studying acting and realizing that I think way too much about everything. And I did that a lot with my animation. And there was this supervisor at Disney who was like really relaxed and from Brazil, and he would always be like, "You think too much." And I was like, "What does that mean?" I'm trying to make really good animation, of course. I'm thinking about it. And then after taking classes, especially like movement classes and things where you are just trying to relax and like allow stuff to happen, which I'm still bad at, especially with acting, I think, but that has transferred into animating, I think. And just knowing that when you're animating, at least when you're actually in the process of animating, maybe not before, like you have to have an idea. And also maybe not even have an idea, but you can have a general idea of what you want to do. But when you're animating, just allow yourself to animate and allow everything to happen. And don't fight against an impulse thinking, oh, this is wrong, I had a plan. Just allow that to happen, because you don't know what will happen after that impulse, if you
Cool. And I'm super interested, Courtney, like as a production manager, how has this, kind of work, has it changed anything for you as far as a production manager or vice versa?
I mean, definitely. I think personally, it allows me to, it's so incredible because it's not, time-wise, it's not a huge commitment. And so it's allowed me to be able to be creative at the same time, because I love production, but, it gives me a creative outlet, which is, it's like, I can't believe I am so lucky to find something that requires just a little bit of time commitment, but still allows you to contribute creatively to a project. And then production-wise, it just allows me to be so much more empathetic to the artists that I'm managing, because I can, actually understand what it's like to receive critique or receive a note and have to adjust. Like you and I were talking about this, having to, you can't just ask an artist to immediately change course. It takes thought process, and there's a lot more behind changing course. And I understand that now, having been in this more intense creative, it's like you're still being creative, but in this production schedule. And so I understand kind of more what that's about. Whereas like in the past, I was in high school and it was, I was very much on my own. So it's much more friendly.
Totally. I mean, I have to say that like working with you closely on this project and a lot of the Tonko House projects, the kind of space that you build for artists to kind of expand the schedule or play with things is really incredible. And I have to say, definitely, I felt like, I think because of Courtney's creative experience, there's definitely empathy that I know a lot of the artists feel. It's so interesting to me that right now, the studio itself is we're so small, and we have two people who are like incredible voice actors and stuff. And it's because Sam, I feel like especially you're very quiet. You don't really kind of put out there like, oh yeah, I do these voices, and it's like something I feel like, at least for me, was discovered. It's like, Sam does what? And then of course looking and checking out a lot of the stuff that you've done, I'm like, I can't believe this, because and even in prepping for this interview, I think both of you guys at least appear to me as fairly confident people, but both of you guys expressed kind of a bit of nervousness about this. And I'm just curious for you guys, like what's kind of what's the future of of what you guys are doing now? Like, what are your hopes to kind of, where do you take this now? Because I feel like both of you guys don't really put it out there. And it's kind of one of those things that I'm like, is it like something that you'd like to keep doing on the side, or is this something that you guys are eventually thinking about in a bigger way, or maybe, I'm just curious where you guys are with it.
I really want to work out the things that I want to get better with at acting. I just feel like I have to face certain fears that I have in that, and it's like I really want to get through it. But I also want to animate though, so
yeah,
like projects like this, I'm like, I have to try do that. So it's a like back and forth always, and it'll just be that. I'd like to do more theater if I can.
Oh yeah. What are some? What are some of the fears that you're?
Like really letting go and not still like trying, like not planning or thinking of like, oh, this scene is gonna be like this and I'll do this, and just like allowing yourself to be completely affected and not worry that you're feeling the wrong thing or that you're not. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I tense up and then I just don't do anything.
Or like, I get it, because I think as a voice actor, you have to be, because the voice is the only tool. There's not physical movement or, your looks or anything, is that you have to be 100% genuine or it comes across as, it just doesn't work. It's like that uncanny valley is so close to the edge with voice acting. And I think that what Sam was saying is that you just have to like just dive in deep. You have to do it 100% or not at all.
Yeah.
And it's really scary, because it could be that your voice doesn't sound right when you do it that way, or that the pitch is too high, or that and you're like, but I don't. Yeah, it's a scary thing to think. Basically, I'm not trained enough, or I'm not good enough to do both, be totally genuine and also have control over my voice. And that's, just the whole fear of not being good enough to actually to succeed in this is, I think, a limitation for me. But what I want to do with it in the future, I don't know if I share Sam's desire to want to expand it into acting. I like being kind of invisible, and I like not having to worry about, what I look like on camera, or I think that just as a woman, I think there's just so much pressure to like look a certain way, and I like voice acting is just, I can be an actor and not have to worry about that, and it's incredible. But it is hard. I think at this point, you have to make either production or voice acting a priority to succeed at one of them. And you can't have two priorities. So yeah, it's more right now, it's production, and as long as I get to, keep doing voices in parallel, that's what I'm going to keep doing. So that's the plan. It's not a very well thought out plan.
You're at Tonko House right now in the studio and we're all listening? That's what you're hired to do?
Tonko House is my number one priority. No, it's I was very, very lucky at Pixar to get to do it in parallel, and in Tonko House, and so it's like, as long as that I'm basically gonna do that until the well runs dry, until I stop. Until somebody has to be like, no, you have to make a choice.
Yeah. Totally.
So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There is something about animation that both of you guys are touching upon, that animation's really about conveying, time and emotion and story through like a very labored process. Like, it was interesting to hear you talk about, Sam, like the spontaneity in thinking, but like I've been watching you guys, and everyone's been working really fast on our series, but it's also like you're drawing frame by frame. So it's an interesting thing that all aspects of animation, in a way, are really kind of labored and thought of separately, and then it's really about that kind of illusion of life, like where all these parts are put together and mixed up, and what's on screen is supposed to appear lifelike and like a real moment, and it really does feel like all these separate pieces kind of come together. Production, film, animation, the voice acting, all of that stuff. do you guys have interest in other areas as well, or is this kind of? I mean, I feel like both of you guys are pretty. I don't know. When I hear you guys talk, and I'm like, you guys have a sense of humor. So do you guys ever write? Do you guys create other things as well? I mean, Sam, you mentioned you had worked on a puppet show as well. Are there other things too? Like, you guys are just creative entities. I feel like that keep flowing, but it's like the process itself is so big that are there also other things that you guys pursue, or other projects and things? What are things right now, like currently, that you're kind of excited in either realm?
I write also, not like all the time. I think I like to have some sort of project that I can chip away at. So I'm writing. I started writing another puppet. I started doing these puppet things where I animate the faces and then track the puppet and then stick the face on in the computer. So I'm writing another one that I wanted to do just like a film noir type of thing. It's just something like to work on that I think would be cool. It's just always you have those periods where like I had nothing to do, and then you like work on your project. So
Yeah,
I think that's kind of what it is for me.
totally.
I not currently, but I've written in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I would not advertise myself as a writer in any means, but I think voice acting and just acting in general, I'm much more sensitive to dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's where I can contribute, but I have a writing partner who I would say does a lot of the heavy lifting, and then I probably come in and and do, I don't know, not a lot, but I mean, I do some, but you know, she's really good at story structure and character development and much more of the bigger stuff. But I don't know. I'm really happy. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I found this balance of, I love production. Like, I love Excel and schedules and like, I love it. I love it so much. And it's not, I mean, like, somebody said something like, oh, I have to budget today or do my taxes today, and I recognized that I felt a pang of jealousy. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna go see Logan today. So I do love that, but then at the same time it's like I love voice acting, and so I'm happy with like this balance I've struck. But I do think as an artist you should always keep looking outside.
What are you guys? You guys have both played multiple characters. Who are your favorite characters to your voices that you guys have done?
I always go between Pops and Benson.
Mm-hmm.
Pops, doing Pop's voice immediately makes me happy. Without fail, so that is good.
That's a good sign. Pig, obviously.
Yeah.
But Pig's a hard one, even though it's just Vokes, you know, he's kind of, he's a sad character to live in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you know, it was really hard being Pig. I loved being Arlo.
Yeah.
I really loved that. But I think that also is a tribute to Pete Zone as a director. I just loved that whole process.
Totally.
Yeah.
Do you guys mind? And we totally could cut this if you guys. Do you guys mind saying some of your favorite lines or different things like as the characters?
I mean.
Or you guys can have a conversation, or.
Oh my gosh. Well, Arlo just sounds just like me. Or that's like I didn't do anything different for Arlo.
Arlo, hello.
Wait, I'll be Nemo.
Nemo?
Are you my dad?
Oh, well, I don't think so. But I would love to be a foster figure of sorts.
I don't have a mom. Do you want to be my mom?
Oh my, that's so sad. You don't have a mom.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I really didn't want you to cry. Don't cry.
Oh no, I'm fine.
Oh, that's good.
But I don't want you to be sad. If you don't have a mom, you must be so sad.
I'm okay. I'm good. I go on adventures, and I have my friend Dory. I don't know if she's my dog.
Ooh, adventures! Like catching butterflies?
I live underwater.
Oh, well, then you wouldn't know anything about butterflies.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Oh my God, Sam, you lit up. I like took it to a dark place immediately. Oh God.
It's so great. It's so awesome. Have you gotten recognized? I mean, has anyone, you distort your voice a bit, so then have either of you guys gotten recognized before?
My voice has never been recognized. I have been recognized a few times, twice.
As a voice? Like somebody's like, oh my God, I know that voice.
No, like my face.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Like weird, yeah.
Wait, tell
but
us
my
about
voice
that.
has never been recognized. I was just sitting having a donut with my mom at a donut shop, and this girl was on like roller skates from the other side of the donut shop. She just like rolled towards me.
Sam, this sounds like a dream.
I was at this donut shop, and there was this girl with roller skates.
With my mom. Oh my God. Was your mom just so proud?
I don't know. I think she was more taken aback.
That's amazing.
That's funny.
I've never been recognized as a voice.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was in a playground one time, and it was just, we were like on the swings. It was me and my buddy, and we were like on the swings, and we were just like talking. And I was like, and we were talking about, grown up stuff. And I was like, if somebody overheard this, do you think, because we're in a playground, do you think that it's like you're talking to a little boy about these like pretty adult themed discussion topics? So we can cut that though. We should put, Sam's memory is much better.
Have you ever answered the phone and someone like, oh, can I speak to your parents or anything like that?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, like doing the voice on the phone.
Yeah.
Because it's like cell phones.
Yeah.
I don't have landlines.
That's right. Right. Whoever's calling you is actually trying to get a hold of you. Yeah. That's awesome. Gosh, we have to do a table read at some point with you guys. Getting all the different voices.
Sam, you'll have like 60 characters, and I'll have 2.
I just go between the extremes of awkward sounding voices.
Well, what's amazing is we've seen on YouTube, you're able to do like characters all at once, like
Right.
multiple characters
Like have
all
a
at once.
conversation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you tried to get me to do that for Pig and Fox that
Right.
one time, and it
That was
it
for
was
Ted.
so hard.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you do that.
It's hard.
Like, do you have to like? Is it just? Do you feel like it's just like?
from doing, because that's how we recorded the
really?
radio show like that.
Oh my god!
Like the first pass or the first take through the scene, you just do everything. So if you
In
have
one take.
characters talking to each other, you go back and forth.
Oh my gosh.
And a lot of times they'll go back and then do them separately, or like get each line.
Yeah.
But the first time, you do it that way, so I got used to it, I guess.
Could you give us a scene with the 3 characters you do on
I haven't
regular show?
done it in a while. Okay. Alright guys, I know it's early, but we have a lot to get through today, and we just need to get this done, okay?
Ready, Benson. What are we doing?
Okay, Muscle Man, I need you to mow the park. Mow all of the grass in the park. It hasn't been done, and it's getting way too long.
Benson, that's like a little too much to get done in one day. I mean, come on. Oh, well,
I'll help you mow the lawn. Do you need a hand? Pops, I really don't want you around the lawnmower. It's not safe. You're not good with it, okay? Just maybe, hang out in the house for a while.
oh, well, I do have some new records.
That sounds good. Just listen to your records, okay?
That was so incredible! Oh my god!
I feel like you could. I don't know if I had that talent. Like I feel like Sam uses it for good. I feel like I would use it for evil somehow. Like
Oh my god, that was amazing!
so amazing, yeah.
Oh my god, I have goosebumps. You shifted.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god. I don't even think that I should be on this Tonkocast. Oh my god.
The regular show ran for from 2010 till this last year, right? Till the beginning of this year.
Yeah. In the middle of 2016.
So you did that show for quite a while. All the while you were also an animator. That's incredible. That's awesome.
I was an animator at studios for part of it, and then I kind of just focused on doing my own thing.
Got it. How does it feel to see that show end, and what was that experience like?
It's like weird because you get so used to coming in to do it every week, and it's like a fun outlet, and then you don't have it anymore. But yeah, I don't know. It's sad, I guess.
Yeah. It's kind of we have this project that we've all been working on since January. It's like the opposite. It's like the regular show ran for years and years and years. This series we're working on is like a 10-episode series, and 10 episodes, 5 minutes long each episode. But you guys, the team, has blazed through from January until now we're in the beginning of April. Done all 10 episodes, and it's like we've had this super short stint together, but in that time I gotta say that you and the animators have become a part of the Tonko House family, and it's been really, but then it's like we're coming to an end.
I know.
And I just wish we had at least voices or something to kind of keep working together, but we'll keep looking for that. Is there anything that you guys want to plug or anything? Anything that projects or things that you guys are going on to, or websites, or
DK Dam Keeper feature.
the Dam Keeper feature is hopefully where we all get to work together in some capacity. That would be amazing. But
I'm putting my puppet short online in a month.
What?
And it's like a 5-minute short, so.
awesome. Are you doing the voices?
I did the voices, and a couple friends did some voices too.
That's awesome.
New
Just
characters?
cute
New
little,
did you have
just
to
a cute little sketch type
cool.
of, almost like a sort of Sesame Street sketch. But
Can you give us a little preview, a little voice from people who haven't seen it yet, but
sure. Well, one is kind of my voice, but
Yeah. Good voice.
there's a king that's just like, this is like it's like a bumbling kind of king character. Well, it's my birthday. Time to check out my cake. Just like a silly little.
in your mind, how does your creative process work to create the puppet show? Is it like you kind of see it in your head and then the voices come, or is it like there's voices? What's the?
I think I just I had fun making the puppets, like just these little puppets, and then I wanted to like put a little sketch together. So, I think it came from just kind of wanting to making these little puppet they're tiny little models, and then like putting them into the story.
They're little puppets? They're not like...
They're little, like, they look like toys, kind of.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. That's awesome.
A little bit of Sam. Yeah, I'm sad that we're wrapping.
Yeah. The Tonkocast or the project?
The project. The Tonkocast.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Are we doing it together? Or
Sure.
Oh, Pops, I had so much fun with you.
Oh, so did I. You're such a cute little one.
Oh my gosh, and you're such a good radio star.
Oh, well, now. I don't want to get a big head.
But Pops, you do have a big head.
Oh, well, I guess I do.
All right, well, thank you, everybody.